when I say sales meeting, sometimes people think that I mean that a sales meeting is like a sales meeting with a prospect. No, this is like an opportunity meeting format.
Welcome to the Master Dealmaker's Secrets podcast. And now, here's sales growth strategist, John Blake.
Hi, this is Master Dealmaker's Secrets. I'm John Blake. We are on episode 206. And today, as promised, we are going to talk about an ideal meeting format, a sales meeting format. So when I say sales meeting, sometimes people think that I mean that a sales meeting is like a sales meeting with a prospect. No, this is like an opportunity meeting format. So in the last episode, we talked about the 10 mistakes that companies and people make when they run sales meetings. What I meant was opportunity meetings. And today I'm going to give you a format that you can use that I think will be really useful. But before we do that, this week is a particularly unique week because next week I am kicking off my next Sales Mastery certification. And this week is the last week that you can get it for the introductory price. I'll next week be showing a small group of sales professionals and business owners how to generate immediate sales revenue, revive dead leads, and at least double their sales revenue. So we take you through 8 different modules. There is a bunch of coaching. There's a bunch of one-on-one. The whole thing is designed to permanently plug all of the drop-off points in your sales funnel to give you the precise pieces to carry more inquiries through your sales process from initial inquiry to full price paying client. And by pieces, I mean templates, specific dialogue frameworks, all the written and verbal language that you need to double sales with your existing lead flow. And more importantly, the order and the timing in which everything needs to happen to double your conversions. So this is an upgraded version of my sales process, which I've been teaching for quite some time. I effectively pulled it all apart and put it back together, and it's been totally revamped. It's absolutely 100% current for what's happening in the market right now. And at the moment, this week where you are hearing or watching this podcast, it is the 3rd of June, and at this point, this is the last time that you can get this particular training. You can get involved in this particular program and get personal one-on-one mentoring by me in the Sales Mastery certification at the introductory investment. So as of next week, or as of the next time we run this particular certification, the fee will go up to $6,000. At the moment, you can get it under half of that. So if you are interested, there should be a link, depending on where you're watching this, either in the email that you got or in the caption if you're seeing this on social media, where you can check it all out. At the moment, there are some spots available, and if you would like to jump on one of the remaining spots, there only is a very, very small group, under 10 people that are going through this. If you would like to be involved, hit that link, or if you want to, you can email me, John, JOHN, at john-blake.com.au, and I would love to have you as part of it. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the ideal format for sales meetings. So I've run a bunch of sales meetings for different clients, and I have talked about the 10 biggest mistakes that companies make when they run sales opportunity meetings in the last podcast. And so what I wanted and what I promised to do today was to go through a particular format. Now, I actually have a template for this. If you want the template, you can email me and I will send it to you. Again, use the same email address, John, JOHN, at john-blake, blake.com.au. Or you can fill out a contact form on my website by just Googling John Blake Sales. So, as I said in the last one, what you need to make sure you do is jot down everything that happens in the meeting. So the minutes. So normally we have a template. You want to have each of the segments of the meeting timed, and you want to tick them off as you go, and you want to write notes in there, especially actions. So things that people have agreed and committed to do. So to start off with, what I normally like to do is have wins. So it's always good to start a sales opportunity meeting off with a win. Now, win could be a personal win or it could be a business win. It could also be a win that someone else wants to acknowledge you for. And so that's always a good, and it shouldn't take any more than 5 minutes, but it's just a good positive way to start a sales meeting. I have one client that is a electrical contractor, and what they do at the start is they talk about a safety moment. So obviously safety is massive in the electrical trade, and so they have what they call a safety moment. So that's just one particular thing to be mindful of to maintain the safety of their team. So that's what they start off with. The second part, and this is a really interesting idea, and the timing is important, is to talk about capacity. Because if you have got massive capacity in your business, you might be a little bit less choosy on who you pursue in terms of opportunities. If you are right at capacity, then you may discover that you don't need to be quite as choosy. So your funnel, your sales funnel, will shrink and expand depending on what business you've got on right now, what's your level of inquiry, but most importantly, what is your current ability to be able to deliver. So again, as an example, if you're only at 50% capacity, then you might pursue a higher number of the leads that you're getting. If you're at 85 or 90% capacity, you might be a little bit more selective as to which opportunities you choose to actively pursue. So capacity is a really good one, because that then drives or informs the rest of the meeting. So wins or safety moment, 5 minutes, or whatever you want to put in there, whatever's important. The next part is capacity. So at what capacity are we, and where does it drop off? Right. So at what capacity are we, and where do we need to add business in terms of our cash flow? And then also, are we on track, or are we off track in terms of our revenue? So that will be another thing that will inform how much you actively pursue new inquiries, and how you gauge those inquiries. So obviously not all inquiries are created equal. You might have some really amazing inquiries that you would go after regardless, but you might have some less than ideal inquiries that you may choose not to pursue, perhaps because the business isn't as profitable, or it's just not a high quality preferred type opportunity. But if you were only at 50% capacity, you might choose to handle that differently. So then the next part is actions from the previous week. So in the last meeting, we talked about one of the biggest problems is that in sales meeting, no one takes minutes and no one makes commitments as to what they will do. So actions from last week, okay, 4 salespeople might have in the previous meeting, and we'll talk about this, they might have talked about, okay, and this is a good way to do it. What are your three biggest opportunities you're working on right now? And what is your next action step with each of them? That's a really good way to create a commitment. And if someone's writing that down, well, now we can go, okay, so Jason, you said that you were working with XYZ company, but they hadn't bought yet. You said your next action was to call them. What happened? So there's some accountability. That person knows that in this meeting, we're going to talk about it. He made the commitment. It was written down. And in this meeting, we're going to go, okay, how did you go? You had those 3 people that you said that you were going to get back in contact with. How did you go? And Jason can say, okay, well, the first one, I'm still trying to get a hold of him. Second one, I spoke to him. He's good to go. He's already paid his deposit. And the third one, he's delayed his decision for another week. Okay, great. So what's your next step with him? Oh, we're going to talk to him today. Okay, awesome. So that's a really good one to go for. If you are in a situation where you have limited capacity, perhaps to submit tenders, you may look at a list of tenders and you may work out which ones you want to go for and which ones you don't want to go for. So one of the things that I do with clients if they're going for tenders is we work out what are the highest probability tenders that we want to put lots and lots of of time and effort into creating and pursuing, and which are the ones that are less than ideal. So we categorize them, and we work out which ones we're going to have a red hot crack at, and which ones we're not so worried about going for. So then there will be actions that will come out of that. So who will do what by when, and that should take 10 minutes. And then the next one, which is really good, especially if there's a business development component to what you're doing, it's like, what are some bigger whale type opportunities that we could pursue? They're not going to probably close in the next 30 days, but they could be big projects that are coming up that we want to be a part of, or big opportunities that we want to become a part of. And let's put some time into taking steps to try to win that work, even though it might only, it might be 5 or 6 or 8 or even 12 months away. So that can be a good one to spend some time on. And again, you don't really want to spend a stack of time on that, but it shouldn't take any longer than probably 10 minutes all up. And then there will be some actions that will come out of that. And then a good way to finish is to obviously report, because at this point we've already reported back on actions from the previous week. But for each of your salespeople, say, okay, great. So what are your next 3 biggest opportunities, and what is your next step with those people? And that way you have built-in accountability. So that particular salesman, and that should probably take the longest. So depending on how many people you've got in your sales team, and you might, if you've got a massive sales team, you might only have, maybe, so if you had 10, that's not really a massive sales team, but if you had 20 people, you might have 5 people that go through that particular exercise where they say, okay, these are the 3 biggest opportunities I'm working on that haven't closed yet. I've got my next step with this guy is I've got to ring him. My next step with this guy is I'm meeting with him this afternoon and I'm about to present a proposal to him. And my next step with this guy, he's already got his proposal, and I've got a note to chat to him next week. So you've got that built in at the end. And so as you can see, that sales meeting shouldn't take any longer than, what is it, 10, 20, 40. So certainly no more than an hour, but you can get through those sections quicker, and your sales meeting can be like 40 minutes, half an hour, 40 minutes, because the last thing you want to do is have all of your sales team all jammed up, not talking to clients, not following up, because it becomes counterproductive to the actual outcome that you're looking to produce. So like I said, if you would like that template, let me know. I will send it through. Obviously, it's a bit different if you're not doing tenders. Trades and construction businesses, this is perfect for. But other organizations that perhaps aren't doing tenders and just have a pretty simple, 2-step sales process, or even a 1-step sales process where they speak to someone and then they've got to call them back to confirm, or if they speak to someone and then they have some sort of a fee outline or an action plan that they send through. It's a really good way of tracking opportunities, holding everyone accountable, and making sure that your opportunities are moving forward. That's the main thing. It's like, and in certain circumstances, you might insert some training. So there might be, a really simple thing that's working for one particular salesperson in your team, and you might get that person to share what it is that's working for them. So you're actually transferring best practice. So there's a whole bunch of different ways that you can do it. But as I said in the last podcast, you've just got to make sure that there is accountability, that all the sections are timed, that someone's keeping minutes, that somebody is making sure that the sections are timed and it doesn't go too long, and that the minutes are sent out promptly at the end of your sales meeting. And it just holds everybody accountable, keeps the whole thing on track, and keeps all of your opportunities moving through. So as always, thank you so much for listening. I will talk to you on the next podcast. And as I said, if you are interested in becoming part of the next Sales Mastery certification, we kick off on the 10th of June. And if you would like to become involved in that, simply email me, john@john-blake.com.au, or there will be some links in wherever you're seeing this that you can follow that will give you more information on it. But there are limited numbers, and if you are interested, I'd love to have you part of it. All righty. Thank you. And thanks for listening. I'll talk to you on the next podcast. Cheers.
You've been listening to Master Dealmaker Secrets with John Blake. Subscribe to get more in-depth strategies and maximize your sales process with new episodes every other week. And double your inquiry to sale conversion with the lead flow you already have. Go to johnblakeaudio.com for his exclusive, free, no-fluff audio training and companion PDF guide.